All right. Let's go, man. It is time to get after it on your Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Clean air is good. Times like this. Dirty air, just a tad bit better. Welcome in, Rodney Rodriguez from Chile, Texas. Getting you set as we roll on. Hey, look. Those ladies right there that were just taking care of business right there, I got to tell you. Jess, I tell you, those ladies right there, they do such a great job. I tell you, Jess and JD, yeah, kind of partial to them. I know, I saw Alan Dietz joking around. Well, I don't think he's really joking around the other day, a couple of weeks ago, talking about, he kind of likes you guys. Well, no shit. Great job right there all year long with those ladies doing Cars Tour Weekly. And, hey, man, what a great season it has been, for Cars Tour. The Cars Tour and Cars Tour Weekly with that program right there. And I'm sure that they will be back and doing some really good stuff here as we continue moving forward right here. If you're checking in on Racing America, and this is actually, I think, episode 50 or 62, if you're checking in on the podcast at RodneyRodriguezRacing.com. Great show tonight. Gonna dive in. We're going to talk to Rusty Marcus, is going to join me here in just a little bit as we get set for the Florida Governor's Cup happening at New Smyrna Speedway. So we will talk to Rusty here in just a little bit, probably about 7 to 10 minutes out. We will have a great conversation with him and do some. It's always fun to talk to Rusty. I'll tell you, man. That's one of those guys to where. Let's go ahead and let me dive in right here. All right. I know the elephant in the room. I don't know who else is discussed. Obviously, we had the race, the ASA race there happening this past weekend in Nashville. And William Sawalich was the winner there, the All-American 400. And Ty Majeski was the champion. You had all of that. Dylan Fetcho, yeah. But the story seemed to be the story behind the story with everything that kind of went wrong there at some point. And that is kind of why I'm excited to talk to Rusty, because not only Rusty does a great job, Rusty's been a race promoter, Rusty's been a racetrack operator for a long time. Obviously that was a very bad situation right there that happened in Nashville. And I think is the racetrack to blame? Yeah. Is the series to blame? Of course. And I say that, and this may be the last dirty air that you see on Racing America, that I say that. But here's the thing, guys. It comes down to when you're operating a race series, when you're operating a racetrack, man, this stuff happens so fast. This stuff happens way fast. And, with that situation right there, go back and watch that. You get the green flag, and that happens, and everything starts to stack up and all of that. That's a lot that's happening right there. That is a lot that's happening right there. And I'm here to tell you, back in the old days, had that been, the mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, when I grew up going to racetracks as a fan, I'll tell you what would have happened. That would have been the man in the bird cage that I always say when I'm calling races. The man in the bird cage, which is a flag stand, that dude would have thrown the yellow flag, because he would have been the one at his discretion to go ahead and throw the yellow flag. And I'm not speaking for the flagman that was on duty that day. I'm not speaking for the series. I am merely telling you my opinion. That's what would have happened. And I'm not shifting any blame to the race director or to anybody else. But man, this stuff happens so fast. This stuff, and yes, it really sucks that you did. All of this happens, and you wind up taking out the field. You wind up taking the front runners. They come zipping around there, and that's what happens right there. And it's unfortunate. But at the same time, I don't think that you need to, or we need to base the entire series, the entire season, the entire whatever on that one instance, because shit happens. The bottom line is shit happens. Things happen on the racetrack, and we're all too often, we don't want to blame ourselves for things that happen. But when these kind of things happen, it's it's just a bad thing. It's just a bad thing, and it's not a matter of ASA versus SRL. Yeah, I said that. I mean, those three letters aren't a bad word. Come on. I mean, it's one of those things to where it doesn't need to be this whole thing about folks are like wanting to swear off the ASA Stars Tour because that happens. I mean, these things happen, man. It happens at your weekly short track. And this is something that I was talking about on the Texas show, on the Revved Up show, which by the way, I don't know if y'all know this, but I am a award-winning Texas show host. When we sit there and we watch the truck race on Friday night, and we want to be pissed off at the guys that are doing senseless things. I mean, that are doing things that, I mean, come on, you got to be better. I mean, you've got to think a little bit better sometimes. But when those things happen, we're all too often ready to sit and talk about that's a NASCAR thing, that's a series thing, that's rich kid thing. I mean, whatever you want to say. But when, man, I go to short tracks almost every weekend, guys. Almost every weekend. And we do the same thing. Almost every weekend. We do the same thing almost every weekend. And is it senseless? Yeah. But you know what? It's passion, man. It's passion. You get out there, I mean, you get out there and you race with guys and you get pissed off at people. And can we be better? Yeah, man. But heat of the moment. That's really... That's my word of the day. Heat of the moment. I guess that's actually 3 words. Heat of the moment. And that's where, when you see the call right there, should someone in that ASA race at Nashville, in the All-American 400, you got Cole Butcher running around with the front end knocked off of that car, shit leaking out of the radiator. Should someone have jumped on the radio and said, hey? Probably. Should the guys in the truck race have not been running over people and costing my good buddy, one of the initial guests on Dirty Air, Grand Enfinger, a championship, should that have happened? That shouldn't have happened, but it did. And that's just part of this, man. That's just part of what happens when we get out there and these things just get out of control. And man, I really wish that these things didn't happen. But this is where we go back to, I mean, you can look at it the same way like you do with football. Folks want to beat up the referees and do all these different things all the time. But you know what? That's kind of what happens. That's kind of what happens all the time. And it's a very emotional sport, and these things do happen from time to time. Could it be cleaned up? Yes, it could. Will it be cleaned up? Yeah, I'm sure the ASA Stars Tour is going to do everything they can to clean that up. But the bottom line is, a little bit of grievance right there for folks, because these things do happen. All right, sermon over. I'm done. Church is over. So let's go and let's talk about, and the whole thing is because I knew that I had a great track operator that was going to be on Dirty Air. So here's the reason why I'm even bringing it up, because I'm talking to a dude that has a great program coming up this weekend right there at the corner of, we'll let him do that. Rusty Marcus, welcome back to Dirty Air. How we doing, sir?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. Sorry for preaching right there, but I knew that you were coming on, and you operate a racetrack, so I have to bitch and moan about things. Rusty, Rusty, kind of talk about that. I mean, everybody has an opinion on that. Yeah. I mean, things got kind of jacked up, but that stuff happens pretty quick from time to time.
And let me tell you something. It happens quicker than you think that it can, and it doesn't matter who it is, what group it is. Everybody has made those mistakes, and they are terrible mistakes. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that you have the best people that you can get. It was a terrible thing that happened. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes that reaction between the yellow and the green and the green and the yellow, it happens so quick, and those cars are flying.
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple weeks ago we almost had a situation like that, and luckily we got it under control before it happened. But it's not to say that it won't happen. It can happen anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rusty, we'll dive in and we'll talk about the Florida Governor's Cup that's coming up this weekend. Kind of talk about the year for you out there at New Smyrna. One of the great racetracks, not only in the, within the region, but I mean, just in the country. Kind of talk about your year out there racing at the High Banks.
This year has been incredible. We started it off with the Red Eye. Mm-hmm. Back in January, and it was a great race. We went into the World Series of Asphalt, which is during speed weeks, and it was incredible to say the least. Yeah. We got into the regular season. The regular season was good. I won't say it's great. I did do some graphs on car counts and whatnot, and they are making an upward trend. Now, keep in mind, New Smyrna Speedway is not like any other track in the world. In Florida, we have a lot of bull rings, which are great. I love them. But to run at New Smyrna Speedway, you have to have everything right on point. Yeah. And if you don't, you are going to lag behind, and it's not going to be pretty. Mm-hmm. This is a tough place to race. Some of the best have been here, and it's kind of kicked them a little bit. And to me, that motivates them to come back with a better plan. Yeah. We've got a lot of drivers. I think there's 24 signed up right now for the supers for the Florida Governor's Cup. And it's a great field of cars. William Byron will be here. We knew that he was going to try and come here, but he had to see what happened last weekend. Yeah. And unfortunately for him, fortunate for us, he didn't win the championship, but he'll be here, and the fans are just going crazy because he'll be here, because that's how well he is appreciated on the Cup Tour. And not to say that he's the bright shining star that's here, because there's a bunch of them that are coming. There's still more that are possibly coming that haven't put their name in the hat. Now, if you go to New Smyrna Speedway, USA.com, you'll see a list of who all is going to be here, and it's quite an impressive list. Yeah. And here's the thing: it's a 2-day show. We have the prelude to the Cup on Saturday night for the pro late models. This is I turned it this year into championship weekend, and what that is our 4 big divisions, which is the super late models, the pro late models, the modifieds, and the mod minis. Those cars are so expensive to run, you can't afford to run them every week. Yeah. So I put them on 6-pack series, with the culmination of their 6-pack being on Governor's Cup weekend, so that it makes Governor's Cup weekend more than just Governor's Cup weekend. I want Governor's Cup weekend to be something that everybody gets excited about, to come in and there'll be more than just the Governor's Cup. Not that the Governor's Cup's not enough, yeah, but add more to it. So in those 4 divisions, we're going to be crowning champions for the David Rogers Sunbelt Super Late Model Series here in Florida, mm-hmm, for the Hoosier Pro Late Model Series, for the Florida Modified Series, and for the Florida Mini Stock Challenge Series. So it's a race inside of a race. I think it's going to add a lot of fun. Plus, we're running all of our divisions this weekend. So if you come here, you're going to get a belly full of racing. There's no doubt about it. And of course, it's the Governor's Cup, and Florida's top cop, Ashley Moody, the Attorney General for the state of Florida, is going to be our Grand Marshal. And we're very excited about that. We've been told, and we believe that someday she'll probably be our governor here in Florida. Love it. So it's very exciting to have her come and be part of the festivities with us. Yeah, no doubt about it. And isn't that a cool thing that you get through the season and then you have this big event? I mean, I always talk about big show season, and that kind of happens. I mean, it sucks that we get to the end of the year and we see the light at the end of the tunnel where it's almost done. I'm sure for a lot of folks like you, it's like, okay, we're almost done. But, for the race fans,
the fact that you have these big races, we got the Snowball coming up. I mean, all of these, the Bigley 128, everything that's coming up. The fact that you're able to kind of bookend your year with a big race like this, man, it's got to be super cool.
Right, and this is the 58th annual Florida Governor's Cup. Last year, it did have a winner, even though we didn't race it, and the winner was Hurricane Ian.
There it is.
And what I like to say right now is this is the calm before the storm. Last year was the storm before the calm, because if you'll remember, New Smyrna Speedway, the pit office was under 19 inches of water.
Yeah.
We had to cease all racing because the track flooded, the surface. We were afraid of what was going to happen if we put cars back on the racetrack, because the flooding was so bad during Ian. Mm-hmm. And it was very disappointing. I mean, it was almost as disappointing as it was in 2020 when they came through and said everybody had to close down. Yeah. It was like, what are you talking about? We're living in times that are just stupid right now. Yeah. But, in 2020, whenever they did that, you think, hey, we live in America. Nothing like this could ever happen.
That's right.
It happened.
It did.
And it set us back. Last year with that hurricane, it was just supposed to be a hurricane with a little water, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
My goodness, when I came up here, the hurricane was still happening, but I live about 3/4 of a mile down the road. Mm-hmm. And it calmed down quite a bit. And I drove down here to check to see what kind of damages we might have. Mm-hmm. When I walked up to the racetrack and the racetrack looked like a lake, I was like, oh no. Mm-hmm. It was horrible. It was heartbreaking because what all's happened here throughout the years, all the different cars and stars that have been here. Yep. And another neat thing came out of it. Whenever we had the flooding, when things started to subside, we did some core samples in the racetrack. Yeah. And I did a little special thing on that on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And to look at the years of asphalt.
Oh man.
And to look at the layers. Damn. And to think who drove on those layers. Wow. And the good times, the bad times, the in-between times. I mean, there was so much history in those little cores of asphalt. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. That's making me tear up right there. I got to see Texas.
Don't tear up because it's Governor's Cup weekend. Everybody's supposed to be happy. Come down here and have a great time. Like I said, I think you're going to see a whale of a race because the contenders that are in this thing, there's some heavy hitters.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you about that. I mean, obviously with the David Rogers super late models right there, you said only 24 to me, only 24. I'm like, 24. I mean, that's great. Kind of talk about that field right there. Like you said, man, it is pretty stacked. I mean, the pro late models, all of that, man. I think it's definitely going to be damn well worth the trip to get to New Smyrna.
Right. And here's the thing. The Governor's Cup doesn't necessarily pay the most money of anything that's happening in the world.
Yeah.
We're very appreciative and thankful and grateful for the drivers that are coming down here to be part of this event. Mm-hmm. Everything is getting so, and this will go to kind of what you were griping about earlier. Everything's getting so expensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the different ones that have.
Oh, damn it. I lost him.
It's getting all out of hand.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Too much money in these big purses. There's not many tracks that can handle these big purses.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to think about. I mean, everybody wants to see, $100,000 to win. You know how many people you got to have in your grandstands? And people go, oh, we'll get a sponsor. That's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And there's so many, and insurance. Holy smokes. Our insurance, I can't even tell you how much it went up this year.
Yeah.
Racetracks, anybody that has a racetrack, New Smyrna Speedway has been owned by the Hart family for 58 years. It'll continue to be owned by the Hart family for probably another 58 years. Mm-hmm. The things that we go through any racetrack, it doesn't matter if it's a small dirt track in the woods or if it's Five Flag Speedway or Daytona International Speedway, the insurance, it just skyrockets every year. People complain about the price of tires, the price of gas. It's not that we're making a lot of money on these things. This is what's happening right now. And after 2020, everything just went crazy.
Yeah.
And you know this, when you go to the grocery store, you used to go take $100, $200 and get pretty much what you needed for a while. Mm-hmm. Now that $100, $200, it doesn't last very long. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way in the racing world. And, employees, you have to make sure, that you're paying them. And people that work at racetracks, folks, they're not doing it for a career. Mm-hmm. They're doing it because they love the sport. Mm-hmm. They're here every Saturday night to put on a show for you guys and to help put on a show for you guys, because it is important to us. We've got to get young people involved in this. I say this all the time. We've got to get young people, because us old people are getting older and older and older. Oh, and if we don't have somebody to carry the torch, where is our sport going to be? This is a sport that we love.
Yep.
And it's going to be nowhere if we don't have people to take the place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Rusty, so you're killing the myth that you're not sitting back about to retire, you and the family there that own New Smyrna Speedway, smoking cigars, drinking cocktails because you're making all this money? Dude,
yeah.
I thought you were rolling in the dough, man.
The case, but that's not the case. And anybody that works at any racetrack, any Saturday night stock car track,
yeah,
they're not making a lot of money. I don't care what anybody says. They might be doing okay. But if you work at a racetrack, it's kind of like becoming a monk. You take an oath of poverty.
Oh, shit. That's right. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
But we love what we're doing, and we like to see a really good show, because there's nobody that gets madder than I do whenever the show sucks. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, we just had all these people in here, and we just put on a crap show. What the heck was that?
Yeah.
Because that's what they remember, is that last show that they were at.
That's right.
And some people, it might have been their first time and they don't want to come back. Well, you don't want that. You want them to be ready to come back for the next Saturday night or Friday night or Sunday, whatever day you race on. Mm-hmm. And we need to get people out there to these tracks. And you know what? Get rid of all the political crap. I don't like so-and-so. I don't like so-and-so. Stop it. You're going to have, if you have three people in the room, you're going to have three different opinions. Yep. Just roll with it. You don't have to like everybody that you work with. You don't have to like everybody that you race with. Go out there and have a good time. Put on a great show for the fans, and you'll see how many fans you actually gain out of that.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well said, my friend. All right, so kind of wrap it up. Folks can go to New Smyrna Speedway on Facebook. Additional information right there, Rusty. Tell folks how to gather more in, and you have to, before you leave, you have to tell everyone where New Smyrna is.
Oh, I will. You can check us out at New Smyrna Speedway USA.com. Of course, we're on Facebook. We're located right on the action corner of 44 and 415 in beautiful New Smyrna Beach. Be there.
Oh, my God. I love it. I love it, dude. Looking forward to a great weekend for you guys out there, man. I know you're going to smash it. I know it's going to be great. Like I said, man, we're into big show season. Hope to see you into the month at Pensacola. We'll catch up and do some fun stuff, brother.
Absolutely. And thank you for what you're doing, and keep doing it no matter what anybody says. You do it with pride and keep right on.
Damn straight, my brother. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, man.
All right. Thank you. All right. Have a great one.
You got it. There he goes. That is the man right there. Oh, Rusty, I'll tell you that's one of the best dudes that you're going to find. Rusty Marcus right there. Florida Governor's Cup coming up this weekend at New Smyrna Speedway. Man, I love that. I can't do that as well as he does. David Rogers, Super Late Models, Pro Late Models. Check out on Facebook. You can get all the information right there of everything that's going to be going on this weekend and I'll tell you, with the Florida stuff, Florida pavement late models, man, this is just the start right there of what's going to be, man. Here we are, 9 November 2023, and we are going to have one hell of a fun month coming up in Florida. Great stuff right there. Remember, all the podcasts at RodneyRodriguezRacing.com. Everything at Racing America as well. Stick around. Coming up, I want to talk a little bit about, let's talk about that snowball entry list. And I'll probably bitch about some tires and stuff. All that's coming up. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air just a tad bit better. It is dirty air. If you're checking it out on Racing America, thank you.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey. You can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude,
Call
I'm
Logano.
way ahead of you.
Hey, Joey. You can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump? The pump. He saved at the pump.
/gas rewards. Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advance Auto Parts. Learn more at advanceautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
Whether it's trucks, muscle cars, or miles per gallon, at CarQuest, we do it all.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Hello, friends. We are back live. It is Dirty Air, episode 62. Rodney Rodriguez live with all of you friends. I'm deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you, Rusty Marcus, for checking in. Florida Governor's Cup coming up this weekend at historic New Smyrna Speedway. And I do want to tell you, if you have the opportunity to go and find what he was talking about right there, what he was doing with the pavement stuff, that's some really cool shit. I mean, that's the only way that I can really describe that. So go check that out and kind of dig into that. Like I was talking about right there, I was able to go a while back to Texas World Speedway and kind of take a look at some of as that place is being dismantled, and that's kind of the crappy part when you get to these racetracks is when they start getting torn apart. You know, you want to go and try to get a souvenir, and that's kind of the bad thing. You know, it's like we all flock over there to go get something. It's like, man, we're all depressed that it's getting all torn to shit, and you want to get over there and try to get something. I mean, just as a keepsake, but to look at the pavement and the history and everything that like Rusty was talking about right there. I mean, think of the names and think of the legendary folks that have been a part of racing on that historic racetrack. Really cool stuff. Go check that out if you get the opportunity. Really cool stuff. Do want to remind you, the show presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance. Let me tell you something, guys. You are going to get the best customer service. You are going to get the best inventory selection that you're going to find in the country, whether you're looking for GM parts, whether it's a crate engine, whether it's drivetrain, whether it's at mechanical. I mean, whatever any of that stuff is. And you have a body shop, and you need collision components and so forth, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet is going to be the place. GM Performance, it's going to be the folks. I mean, the best price in the country. I promise you, it's going to be the best price. You can email me and use hashtag Dirty Air. And I promise you that I am going to get you the best price that you're going to get on whatever it is that you're looking for. If you have a number, give me that number. If somebody is giving you a number, give me that number, and I promise you, my man Benny and Ryan, they're going to beat that number. They're going to beat that number. I also do want to give a lot of love. I mean, as you see me, kind of sporting the Dirty Air polo right here. Look like I'm ready to go out and play golf. This stuff right here is courtesy of a Texas company. It is On Demand Shirts out of San Antonio. My man James Cole and his great folks right there. You've seen the spots that I've run here on the show before. James Cole and his group are going to set you up. One of the challenges that you find a lot of times with short track teams or even, you know, some of the regional teams, if you're looking to get your racing apparel, whether it be caps, and I've got caps. Hang on one second. If you're looking for caps, whatever you're looking for, T-shirts, whatever it is, on-demand shirts, they're going to take care of you. And the great thing is with on-demand shirts, just kind of what it says right there. On demand, you ain't got to buy 8 dozen of them. You don't have to pay $500 and have that shit sitting around. They're going to be able to get you that as you need it. There's an online store right there. They're based out of San Antonio. Same thing. Reach out to them. Use the hashtag Dirty Air, or hashtag Revved Up, and those folks are going to set you up and get you and your race team everything you need and have it right there ready to go for you. So thanks to GM Performance, Rogers Dap Chevrolet, On Demand Shirts, proud partners, and I got to tell you, proud partners of me and great supporters here of the racing program. I was just talking to Rusty there. I was talking about racing coming up in the state of Florida as we move in towards the end of November. And, of course, the Snowball Derby is coming up. And, man, I don't know if you check into on the Racing America page, if you check in on Racing America on the Facebook page, you have probably seen, my goodness, crying out loud, have you seen these pre-entry lists that we have for the Snowball Derby? And the Snowflake. Speaking of Rogers Dab Chevrolet, speaking of Pro Late models, speaking of crate engines, man, over 50 teams already entered for the Snowflake 100. And man, I'll tell you one thing: you look at both of those. You look at the Flake and you look at the Derby, and man, it's a who's who of just man. This is going to be unbelievable. This is going to be unbelievable what we are digging into at the end of the month with the Derby. And I've said it so many different times in the past couple of weeks, is that I really think that this year, as we get into the Derby, the Derby, everything about the Derby is going to be unbelievable. By the way, don't forget the Miss Snowball Derby is coming up, I think on November 18th. So if you want to be a part of that, you can check out the Five Flags Speedway page. And if you want to be a part of that, you can. I really think that the Derby this year is going to be something not only just with the entry list that we're already seeing. I think that's really something that's really going to this is going to be an interesting Derby for a lot of reasons. And what I was just moaning and groaning about a while ago with what happened in Nashville, I think is something that's going to be interesting. And the fact that you have 2 super late model series that are both running very effectively and have competitive fields, and have a lot of great drivers that continue to campaign in each and every one of those series races for both series, I think is going to be just unbelievable. But I got to tell you, something that I'm really looking forward to is, the Modifieds of Mayhem. It's kind of it's not the Flake, it's not the Derby, but December 1st you're going to have the finale there as a part of Snowball Derby weekend for the Modifieds of Mayhem. You'll have the trucks, you'll have the Pure Stocks, you'll have the Sportsmen, you'll have the Crown Vics, all of that as well. But the Modifieds of Mayhem, it never fails that this really is the one time of year that we do get a lot of these ground pounders, all the different things that I call them, that converge to Pensacola and come out to run in that modified race. And I think that, we just had the Alabama State Championship over at MMS, and you had Jeremy Williams winning that one. Cody Stickler's your point leader right now, but I think that you're going to draw in a bunch of great modified drivers. Truck race is always great as well. And man, I really hope that the truck race is something that you get a lot of folks that make their way out. I know towards the end of the year at Mobile, you had the trucks that were really growing. The trucks were really good when we were at Mobile, and I hope that that's something that continues over. Man, I want to see a barrage of modifieds, and I want to see a barrage of trucks there as well. With Pure Stocks and Sportsman and Crown Vics. I mean, I know that they're going to be great as well, but I think that this is going to be, 4 or 5 days of just unbelievable racing that'll happen at Five Flags Speedway. Again, fiveflagspeedway.com, and on Facebook at Five Flags Speedway. And, of course, on Racing America, you can always get all the latest updates in the groove, with Tim, with their live show that comes up. I think it's once a month. You'll get that as well. Before I get out of here, a couple of notes. Number one, for Texas race fans, again, we are in the process of a cold front that is about to get a little interesting around here. I know that a lot of Texas folks are looking forward to the 28th annual Texas Grand that was supposed to happen this weekend over at 105 Speedway, just this side of Houston, over in Cleveland, not Ohio, Cleveland, Texas. That has been canceled due to the forthcoming rain. I mean, we're about to get soaked extreme. Matter of fact, it's raining like crazy right now. So that has been postponed. We've got several big events that are going to be coming up, but that one at 105 Speedway will not happen. So if you're checking in from Texas and you had plans to head to 105, don't go, because if you go to 105 and you get there, you're going to have the best seat in the house because ain't going to be nobody else there, because that race has been canceled. High Limit Racing, kind of on the same conversation what I was just talking about with the two series with the ASA and the SRL, 6 letters right there. Now I didn't talk about this last week on the program, but now you've got another sprint car series with Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet, that is going to be a national tour. So I guess you can call it growing pains as asphalt racing has grown, and we try to get through all of the different things that with those growing pains. Well, now the more popular that dirt track racing gets, well, now you're going to have somewhat of the same issue right there, and having 2 thriving series, is that an issue? Well, I mean, to me it's not, but to a lot of people it is. And it's a situation to where this is just the way things happen. I saw the IMCA rules came out, I think it was yesterday, and there's a lot of back and forth on some rule changes that are happening there that are going to affect some dirt track racing series teams. But I've had folks reach out and ask me about that stuff. Well, guys, they're putting those rules out in November because you start racing in March, and they're giving you plenty of time to alter whatever you're needing to do right there. So that's kind of my thought with that. And I saw as well, we've had, with tire battles and different, guys, I'm really not this grumpy. I promise you, I'm really not this grumpy. That I want to sit here and just talk about things that drive us all crazy. You know why I'm doing that? Because you guys drive yourselves crazy thinking about these things. We have Hoosiers. We have American Racers, both great tires. I am friends with people at both of those companies, but I saw some testing happening with Cobra Racing tires. And, is that something to where Cobra Racing tires is going to become a tire? I don't know. Rusty was just talking about, a lot of the problems that we have is the cost of things. And, I don't know, man, we stub our toes, personally. I think that we can, the cost of tires, the cost of rubber, the cost of materials, the cost of everything, while Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance does have the best price on GM parts and crate engines and so forth, the cost of goods and the cost of materials and the cost of shipping and different things, I don't necessarily know, and I'm not bashing any tire manufacturer, and I'm not saying that Cobra should not become a part of this. I really don't think that we need another tire manufacturer in the mix with here. And I saw some folks in Houston saying, maybe we had a change of that tire. I wouldn't. But anyway, again, cost of the sport seems to be the one thing that causes problems. Let's keep our lives easy. Let's keep our lives easy and not add to the expenditures that we run into. I touched on briefly at the beginning of the program, with the truck race where you had all of that scenario that was going on. As I was complaining about that, I do want to tell you guys that I thought the Xfinity Series race, I mean, for you older school guys and ladies that tune in and watch us on replays and so forth, hey, man, the way the Xfinity race panned itself out, good racing right there. Those four individuals right there, they went out and they raced this thing out, and they're leaning on each other and doing things, and it's really okay to go ahead and race this thing out the way that they did. I mean, that was a really great exhibition of racing, and the truck. I mean, the truck race. I mean, I was talking to Rich Lucius on my Monday show, and I mean, we had a great conversation right there. And again, I'm not indicting the truck series of anything. It was, somewhat of an isolated thing. But I can tell you one thing: the way that the Xfinity Series raced on Saturday was really cool to see. Really cool to see these guys just going out there and doing their thing. And briefly, for the folks that are kind of frowning on Ross Chastain for what happened on Sunday, you've been behind the wheel. A lot of you. You've been behind the wheel. Are you going to play possum? Are you going to play possum? I don't think so. I don't think you are. Ross Chastain went out there and did what most of us would do. And he did it in a manner where he was not going to affect anything that, he made it hard for Ryan Blaney. He made it hard for all those guys. And that's not really a bad thing, man. It's the spirit of competition. It is the spirit of competition. And, when it's all said and done, that's not really a bad thing. Guys, this has been one heck of a fun program on your Thirsty Thursday. Thanks to Rusty Marcus for checking in and being a part of the program. And go to New Smyrna Speedway on Facebook and check out what's going to be a really great weekend. Like he talked about, the David Rogers Super Late Models, the 200, you'll have that. The Pro Late Models, all the other classes as well that'll be diving in for the Florida Governor's Cup that kind of sets the tone for a very busy month that's going to be coming up in Florida. A big thanks to On Demand Shirts. Check them out on Facebook, On Demand Shirts. They will hook you up with your apparel needs. It says shirts, but it's a lot more than shirts. They got caps, they got koozies, they've got tumblers, they've got all of that stuff. They can get you hooked up with everything that you or your race team or your business may be looking for. My man James Cole, hashtag Dirty Air, hashtag Revved Up. Rogers Dab Chevrolet, GM Performance, #1 price in the country. That's what you're going to get right there. Email me, and I will get you in touch with the folks that are going to get you that best number, best inventory that you're going to find in the United States. It is Rogers Dab Chevrolet, not just on the crates. It's on your parts. It's on your powertrain. It's on everything, even the collision parts that you may be looking for. Guys, hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you, everyone, for checking in on Racing America and RodneyRodriguezSports.com. I know that the ladies were saying that they were into their finale there with Cars Tour Weekly. This bad boy will roll on. May not be every week, but this one's going to roll on. I can tell you that it definitely will be happening next Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern and 6 p.m. Central on whatever spot that you're finding this or the podcast on your podcast providers. Guys, have a great weekend. If you still have short track racing happening in your region, go out and find a short track. And I'll be damned if you can't find a short track, find a streamer like Racing America or Flow or Race on Texas or one of those that's going to put you almost as good as being there. Not quite as good, but almost as good as being there. Because short track racing, man, got to team up, got to keep this shit going. All right, guys, y'all have a great week. We'll do it again next Thursday. Be good.